Hello and welcome to my channel, Rhino here. Today I've got something a little different for you. I'm not doing a response to any particular video or website. My last couple of videos on morality have got me thinking, and I'd like to share some of those thoughts. So let's go. In my forays into the subject of morality, I have come to realize something that was, to me, a bit of a revelation. It seems that some people are under the impression that the universe owes them something with regards to morality. As in, because I think something is unfair, there must therefore be a force in the universe to balance that unfairness in order to create a fair universe. This just flat out isn't true. The universe does not owe us anything. We exist, and to our small little minds, we are the most important thing there is in the universe. But when you really stop to think about it, we are insignificant. If you were to view the universe as a whole, you'd probably need a microscope just to see our galaxy. Our solar system wouldn't be visible at all, and the idea that you'd be able to see our largest city is just laughable. Yet we have this innate sense of how things ought to be for us on our little dust mote. We want criminals to be punished. We want people responsible for war crimes to be held accountable for their actions. We want to get even with the guy that cut us off in traffic. In short, we want justice. But we don't always get justice. Criminals can get away with their crimes. People like Hitler can die before being caught and thereby escape being held accountable for their actions. The guy that cut us off in traffic can zip through all the other cars and get where he's going faster than us. It's just not fair. And from this feeling of injustice, some have come to believe that there must be something bigger than us that uses its power to make the universe a just place. They put a personal god out there, or a natural force born of the universe which punishes wrongdoers after death and rewards the righteous. There is something or someone looking after us, making sure that everyone gets what they deserve. But the harsh truth is simply that the universe doesn't care. There doesn't appear to be a god dedicated to maintaining any form of justice in this life, and there certainly is nothing to indicate whether or not there is an afterlife. In fact, everything we know about consciousness points to the idea that once the brain stops functioning, the consciousness contained within that brain will cease to exist. It doesn't matter if you are a good person or bad, religious or atheist. Once your brain stops, you are gone. I know the idea of non-existence is hard to imagine. We have no basis for comparison, no way of knowing what it will be like. We cannot imagine being in a state of non-existence because existence is all that we have known. But not being able to imagine not existing does not mean that we must therefore exist for all eternity. Likewise, having a yearning for justice does not mean that there must therefore be a perfect system of justice. At its best, this is simply an argument from consequences. Everyone who has committed a heinous crime and died before being caught essentially got off without punishment, and I don't like that, so it must not be true. I'm sorry to break it to you, but not liking something in and of itself does nothing to change that thing. And now to address the elephant in the room. So far, I have been keeping this religiously ambiguous. I could be addressing atheistic Buddhism with these talking points. But the three biggest offenders are by far the Abrahamic faiths of Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. Judaism isn't as bad as the other two, as strictly speaking there isn't really much said in the Torah about an afterlife aside from some references to some people being gathered to their people when they die, which may be referring to a reunion with loved ones after death, but there isn't a concrete idea of the righteous being rewarded and the wicked being punished, though certainly some Jews do hold to ideas similar to the Christian heaven and hell. Islam and Christianity, though, often use this very notion of universal justice as an apologetic. They appeal to our longing for justice, and make the claim that this longing was put there by God, the author and creator of divine justice. Islam, though, isn't quite as bad as Christianity in this regard, as the Quran is written in such a way as to make everything that seems like injustice in the world be a part of Allah's plan, and so it really isn't injustice. Christians, on the other hand, will often flaunt this idea as if it's a gotcha of some sort. You long for there to be justice, so there must be a god to dole out the justice after we die. Otherwise, Hitler essentially got away with everything he did. The problem with this, though, is that it outright ignores the problem of deathbed conversions. The perfect example of this is Jeffrey Dahmer. If you're unfamiliar with him, he murdered at least 17 young men, sometimes after raping them, and often cannibalizing and taking souvenirs of their bodies. After he was caught, sentenced, and imprisoned, he converted to Christianity. Roy Ratcliffe, the minister who baptized Dahmer, insists that his conversion was entirely sincere. If he is right, then that means that after Dahmer was beaten to death in prison at the age of 34, he was then rewarded with eternal paradise. Rewarded after a life spent murdering and cannibalizing people. He was only in prison for 3 years before he died. 3 years of imprisonment isn't much of a punishment for what he did. He didn't even have to apologize to the families of the victims. He just had to tell God that he was sorry, and bam, eternal paradise. What kind of justice is that? So if our desire for perfect justice means that there is some kind of cosmic lawgiver who will hold us all accountable for our actions, then that cosmic lawgiver cannot be the God of the Bible. The idea that Dahmer is enjoying eternal paradise now while some of his victims are being tortured in hell just screams of injustice. And were it to be shown to be true, I would want to demand that the being who put that system into place be held accountable for their actions, as this is a clear violation of justice. Now, before the theists start claiming that I clearly lead a depressing and meaningless life, remember that as an atheist, I don't have a God telling me that worshipping him is my only purpose in life. I can find fulfillment and joy in doing what I can to bring about fairness and justice in the world. I can find meaning in trying to leave this world just a little bit better than it was when I found it. I do this by giving to charities, engaging in dialogue, raising my children, learning new things that I can then share with others. One such new thing that I thought was really interesting was a study where they had people read an eye chart as far down as they could, then look at this spiral image for a few seconds, and then they read the chart again. It was found that after looking at the image, they could read further down on the eye chart. So that illusion image basically gives our eyes a type of digital zoom. It's pretty cool beans. I also find a sense of peace in knowing how insignificant humans on the earth really are. I look up into the night sky and see it filled with beauty, and I know that no matter how badly we fuck up the Earth, there's nothing we could do that could possibly have an effect on the universe at large. In the end, whatever shadow we humans manage to create, it is only a small and passing thing. There is light and high beauty forever beyond our reach.
Mr. Fertile. Look. There is light. Beauty up there that no shadow can touch.
So in the end, the universe owes us nothing. Our demand for justice will not result in the existence of a god. Our craving for fairness will not stop criminals from escaping. But that does not mean we are left to live lives full of despair. It just means that if we want fairness, we can't rely on a god to provide it. If we want justice, we can't assume it will come from above. We must all work together to make the world as fair and just a place as we can. And perhaps, many generations from now, if we all work towards this common goal, maybe, just maybe, we will give rise to a society that is as close to just and fair as is humanly possible. Thanks for watching. So that was a bit different than my normal style. I hope you enjoyed it. This is an argument that comes up quite frequently in apologetics videos, and I normally just mention that the universe doesn't owe us anything and move on. I felt that it deserved a bit of a deeper look, so that's what I gave it here. Thanks again for watching. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter and support me on Patreon. Fun little announcement, this Monday, March 5th, will be the 2nd anniversary of my first video upload. I'm not doing anything special to celebrate or anything, but I think it's neat that I've been around for 2 years now. Anyways, see you next time!